Hi guys, I'm going to go over section 1.5, angle relationships. There are 6 terms to go over. The first term is called adjacent angle. So adjacent angles share a side or a ray. So looking at this angle, when you first look at it, there's actually a ray cutting up here, and that's the side that ABC is sharing with A is sharing with CBD. So those are the shared sides. Next we did was vertical, which is my favorite because I love vertical angles are congruent. Is actually a rule we're going to go over later in this tier, but I love it. Vertical angles are these highlighted angles. So if you have 2 straight lines that cross, so as it says, vertical lines, they go above each other, and they also are formed when you have crossing lines. So AC crosses BD, making angle AEB vertical to DEC. Also, cool fun fact is there's a second pair of vertical, which is AED and BEC. These are not vertical, they don't go straight across. Linear pair is any pair of adjacent angles. When they are next to each other, they make 180. And that's the first 3 terms. The second 3 terms, the second 3 is important because this is called complementary angle. So if you have an angle here, and this whole thing is complementary, meaning they equal 90. So this angle is x, this is x plus 10. So you can add those two together, x plus 10, and set it equal to 90, and actually solve this problem. That's what they're going to do. They're going to put variables inside of these questions and make you find variables. And then after you find the variable, you have to find the angle. So 40 and 50, because x plus 10, x plus 40 is 50, altogether 90. Same thing with supplementary. It's just instead of 90, it equals 180. So EFH here is 2V. HFG is just V. 2V plus V equals 80. So I want to take these out. These were not here in the beginning. These you have to find. So 2V plus V equals 180. You solve it, you end up getting 60 over here. And 2 times V, which is now 60, is 120. Does that equal 180? Yes. So then we have perpendicular, which means when you hear there's a perpendicular, if this is perpendicular, then this side has to be perpendicular because that's a straight line that equals 180. This has to be perpendicular. Vertical angles are congruent, but also straight lines. If you cover up this section and you just look from here to here, that is also 180. And then this is also 90. So then you can just make this equal to 90, add these two together and equal to them the 90. And that's how you find your X and your Y. So one more thing I want to talk about, which is actually very important, is the idea that you sometimes get word problems. So if you get a word problem, they're actually not that hard. So if someone says the angle is twice as big as the first angle and they are supplementary, tell me what the angle's measurements are. That's actually easier than it sounds if you just realize you don't know the angles. If you don't know something in math, you just label it something. So that's X. The whole thing is supplementary. But the other piece of information in that word problem, this is a very common SAT problem too. You will see some variation of this either on the MCAS or on SAT. And the other key point was it said one angle is twice as big as the other angle. So if that's X, twice as big as that is 2X. So if you just draw, so whenever you get a word problem with supplementary and complementary and they don't tell you what the angles are, number 1, draw a picture. Number 2, you label what you don't know. You don't know one of them, just call it X. And then use the information to make the rest of the equation. So you could solve this. 2X plus X, that's equal to 180. Solve that problem, you get 3X equals 180. And then you solve that, you end up with 60 and 120, and that equals 180. Simple word problem solved.